Hi, my name is Philip D'Souza, and welcome back to Blueprint. As you know, at HIROC, patient safety, innovation, and knowledge sharing are at the cornerstone of what we do. And today, we're delighted to be at the KITE Research Institute at UHN in Toronto. In a few moments, you'll be seeing some great interviews with some amazing individuals making a huge impact. So let's watch and hear innovation in action.
Hi, my name is Ati, and I'm CEO and co-founder of AiimSense, which is short form of AI imaging sensors. At AiimSense, we are addressing a critical gap in medical imaging. Today's brain imaging technologies like CT scan and MRI are powerful, but limited to hospital setting because they are expensive, they are bulky, and they require special infrastructure. Our solution brings the power of these modalities into a portable format, like a helmet, using safe electromagnetic imaging. This not only makes brain scans accessible, but also reduces the time to diagnose significantly, especially for conditions like acute stroke or traumatic brain injuries. By enabling immediate diagnosis at point of care and in remote locations, we aim to improve the patient's outcome significantly and save lives. The journey to create AiimSense began from a synergy of expertise and passion. My co-founder and I combined our strength, my background in imaging techniques and stroke research, plus his extensive experience in RF and microwave technologies, help us build this together. This is deeply important to me because it's democratizing the brain health care, ensuring that this life-saving technology is available wherever it is needed, not only in the well-equipped hospitals.
Congratulations, Adi, on recently winning the Power Play Innovative Startup Competition at KITE's International Conference on Aging, Innovation, and Rehabilitation. How did this impact AiimSense, and what's next for your company?
Winning this competition was a powerful validation for our team's hard work and innovation. It was not only about the visibility that we gain on an international platform, it was also the doors that open afterward for potential partnership and also the stakeholders who were interested in advancing the brain healthcare. This recognition will help us move our technology forward by accelerating our clinical trials and deploying our technology in real world scenarios and ultimately bringing it to the medical world. We would love to see our technology being used in different settings, specifically for those who do not have access to any sort of brain imaging or imaging facilities, for example, remote areas and underserved communities. It can be used in ambulances or in helicopters and sent to those areas that they really do not have access to any sort of imaging. It basically democratizes the brain imaging for everyone. Now it is like the accessibility to the MRI and CT is not that widespread as it should be.
Why is it important for you and AiimSense to be part of the healthcare startup community?
AiimSense is part of a very dynamic ecosystem of startups. So we are really benefiting from this collective effort of all those who are working in the health tech space. Specifically, we are very respectful to those who are pioneers in the space, and they are all like collectively working towards advancing the brain imaging. So we see it as a broader mission to everyone contributes to make these advancements. Those who dare to come to this space, this is very challenging. It is not easy to develop some new imaging modality from scratch. They need to be very patient and resilient, if I'm saying the word correctly. So, yeah, because it is a long journey and it requires it takes a village to do that. We need to be coachable. We need to be open to mentorship, to learn from others, and also to contribute and to help others who wants to come to this space.
Hello, my name is Davood Dadkhah. I'm a PhD student at the University of Toronto, and I'm also doing research at KITE Toronto Rehab Institute. I'm also part of Posture Coach, which aims to develop a device to prevent lower back injuries among healthcare workers. We won the third place in the KITE ICAIR conference at the Power Play Innovative Concept section. Lower back pain is a huge problem among healthcare workers. So more than 70% of healthcare workers and personal support workers experience lower back pain during their work life. So basically, the problem is that the traditional training isn't working. When they sit in the conference room and people tell them don't bend too far, correct their postures when they are trying to lift heavy objects, it doesn't work. So we developed a device called Posture Coach to prompt healthcare workers when their posture is not really good and when they bend too far. It basically provides them with a gentle vibration when they bend too far, and so they can correct their posture when they want to lift heavy objects. So basically, this idea started many years ago by my supervisor, Professor Tilak Dutta at the Engineering Health Lab, and many students before me worked on this project. So I personally dealt with lower back pain my whole life. And so seeing that many of healthcare workers dealing with this lower back problem inspired us to do something about it. And if we can make a dent on that more than 70% of the healthcare worker that experience this lower back pain, that would be really good for the healthcare system. Because basically, if you lose a healthcare worker, you basically generate a patient, and you need another healthcare worker to take care of that patient. And the problem is bifold for the healthcare system. So solving this problem makes a huge difference for the healthcare system.
What feedback have you heard about Posture Coach?
We ran a few trials with Posture Coach, and these trials showed that even wearing this sensor for like 2 1-hour sessions, make the good habit of not bending too far while lifting a stick around for many months after that 2 sessions. This is compared to the traditional training of telling healthcare workers not to bend too far, and that doesn't even make a change in the posture of the healthcare workers.
You have a passion for science and change. So where did you personally get inspiration from?
If I can, as a person, help my society to even a small change in society can make a big difference in the future. So if I can take my part and develop something that I'm good at and make it even a small difference in my society, I would be happy at the end of the day.
Hi, I'm Sophia Yue Li. I'm scientist and the partnership manager at the KITE Research Institute University Health Network. And my role here is doing research on fall prevention and accessibility, as well as to engage external partners.
What is the RampLab, and what does your research focus on?
So RampLab is one of our newest lab that we developed. And as you can see behind me, the RampLab has a ramp that we can gradually change the angle of the walking surface. And this RampLab is used to test the slip resistance of the footwear or the floor material, or the combination of the floor material and the footwear. Why we need the RampLab is because at the moment, the consumers, especially for hospital or the buildings, to select floor material, they don't really have a good reference to say which floor is slippery under dry and wet condition. And our RampLab be able to provide human-centered test results to provide information for the consumers as well as the designers for developers, for them to choose the floor material that will be safe for people to walk on.
There's many labs here at KITE: Ramp, Falls, Driver, and others. Why are these labs so important?
We are one of the research institutes part of the UHN, and we always hear that the best treatment is prevention. So we are part of a hospital, but we really don't want people come to the hospital. So we want to make sure that people don't get injured, especially we know that slip and fall is one of the major reasons that people get injured. So in their home environment, in the public place, or when they come even visit hospital, we want all those environments to be really safe. And all the labs that you mentioned helps us to look at how we can evaluate people walking, how we evaluate the products, and how we find out the solutions if we find some risk factors. So those labs really help us to look at how we prevent slip, trip, and fall injuries.
What is the feedback about the outcomes and successes of all the research from these labs?
I have to say we are quite proud of ourselves. And the one that I think probably at the moment the most well-known and famous program is our Read My Treads program, which is for fall prevention in the winter on icy surface, which we know that Canada, Toronto, most of the cities, we have half a year of the winter and the place covered by ice. And our winter lab and the Read My Treads program provide information on which footwear is slip resistant on ice. And now we roughly probably have over 1 million visits every month for people to look upon our website to choose the right footwear for winter. We also have big organizations actually using our website to educate their employee to choose the right winter footwear so they can decrease their slip and fall injuries in the winter time. So one of the study we did showing that with personal support worker, that for the group of PSW wearing the good footwear for winter compared to the one just wearing their regular traditional footwear, we see a decrease of slip and fall by at least 70%. So that's a big decrease in terms of slip and fall incidents. And we confident that by leverage all the research outcomes from those labs, we be able to dramatically reduce the injury rate. All right, so as you can see, the RampLab, this is a walkway. So we can actually replace this walkway with different floor material, depends on what type of material we want to test. And at the moment, it's in an angle position, but you can imagine that that end of the ramp actually can go either up or going down. So we can create the slope at different angles. And how we do the test actually is really depends on whether people slip on this type of angle, and then make sure that the angle they don't slip will be right down as our testing results. We call that maximum achievable angle. So you can imagine if somebody slip at 10 degrees with this type of material, and then we switch to another material, they slip at 20 degrees. Very straightforward, you will say the one can go to 20 degrees is a better floor material for slip resistance. So even for hospital environment, sometimes we have to choose the floor material for the patient bathroom. So for a patient who is doing the shower, we have the patient barefoot. We also sometimes could have the staff also barefoot. So we need to know if that floor material is safe for barefoot. Hence, we also testing the floor material with the barefoot condition. And that can also apply to swimming pool, can also apply to like other environment that normally people don't wear shoes. So dry and wet are the most common conditions for normally how the floor are used. But people might argue that we don't really have water like this in hospital. But the reason we test them wet condition is we cannot predict who is going to spill a glass of water on the floor, and people could step on that puddle. So we needed to know how the floor actually perform when it's wet. But we also have the floor material, for example, for the hospital kitchen environment, like a cafeteria. They could have oil drop on it. So we could simulate, we can put oil on top of the surface. And also, soap water is another very common contamination people will experience. So we can also, instead of like just running the clean water, we can also add soap into the water to make it even more challenging. And we also sometimes use the glass rain to simulate even more slippery condition. So depends on, and I trust that when we do more and more ramp testing and working with more partners, they may ask us to test some contamination I couldn't even think of, but we are up to the challenge, and we'll be able to probably simulate those environment for them. We actively engaging all kinds of organizations. So for example, the RampLab testing currently we're doing is for a hospital to help the hospital at the planning stage to choose the right floor material. And of course, and to help the consumer to get the right footwear, we also work with a for-profit company, for example, Mark's Warehouse. And we help the manufacturer actually to evaluate their footwear so they can put safe footwear on the market for the consumer, for the patient, for the older people to wear. In that way, we work with organizations, manufacturers, and we also work with the organization, for example, Parachute. When they do their November Fall Prevention Month, we actually provide them information on the research we did, and they can further disseminate those knowledge to the targeting population and group as well.
If you could create a new lab tomorrow to help anyone, what would that lab be about?
Well, I think if I have to dream, and especially I'm also sitting on the Federal Accessibility Standard Committee. We are currently drafting the new accessibility standard for federal buildings. And there's a lot of times we're always wondering what those numbers came from. Because, for example, the hallway has to be this wide, and for how many meters we have to put a seat in order to accommodate people who needs them. And my dream will be if I can have a city block that we can easily change all the features. We can change the width of the sidewalk, we can change the width of the road, we can put different street furniture, so we can test out all those features that we be able to provide accessibility and safety, and we can do more controlled study to really collect evidence to support those standard, those decisions. I think that will be my sort of like living city block lab.
Thank you for watching another episode of Blueprint. Your engagement with this series has been fantastic. We hope the stories you heard today inspire innovation at your organization. And be sure to follow us on our LinkedIn channel to get notified of new episodes of Blueprint and much more.